Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the True Crime Squad. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver, or Kristi Brower.
Hey guys,
I feel like I'm Katie
apparently,
Weaver. Yeah.
I'm now Katie Weaver, but no, I'm not. I'm Kristi Brower.
What the hell?
We were both a little discombobulated right at the beginning here. I don't know if you could tell.
Well, you know, it's Monday, so we're
It is.
all out of practice. We haven't been here since Thursday, so apparently I don't know how to do this show anymore, but I'm going to do my best.
You totally forgot how to be on the podcast.
I have been so far down the rabbit hole on a case today, too. And anyway, this is Kristi Brower, and so welcome. How's it going?
You know what? I'm really good. Doing quite excellent. Just doing too many things at once right here at the end of the show, but really good. I'm excited. I have a new opportunity coming my way to do some writing, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Excellent. Love
So
it.
yeah.
Good.
So I'm,
And you
I'm great.
absolutely thrive there, so I can't wait to see what you
I do. Yeah. So I'm psyched about it. Also, I have a little show and tell. Y'all have seen the elephant for Fidget Whimsy, but this is her final form.
That is adorable.
If you can see, she's fuchsia, although I'm going to offer two colors, fuchsia and a silver gray. She is now in the Fidget Whimsy store.
She is begging to be named Myrtle. She's Myrtle.
Isn't she?
Yeah,
I called her
she's
Ellie
adorable.
in the store because they all have a name, and they all have a name with, that starts with the same letter as the first letter of the animal it is. But I think she's so cute. She has a very articulated trunk and tail. And her ears move too, as well as her legs. So anyway, she's cute
adorable
as heck. And she is now available. And I'm very excited about it. So I wanted to let you all know. She's just at fidgetwhimsy.com. Some of you have been asking because I've showed versions of this and haven't gotten her up yet. I just wanted to decide on colors. And I actually went with like traditional.
I like it.
Silver.
Very fun.
Or non-traditional fuchsia. Because I always have non-traditional.
Well, pink elephants. Pink goes with elephants.
I kind of went there. I just absolutely love this PLA. This is the same PLA that I make my hippopotamus out of, and I just think it's so pretty. So anyway, if you've been looking for the elephant, she is there now, and I am excited about that. So.
Love her.
Check her
out. I had
out.
to mute myself and yell at Scott because he's coughing too loud.
Oh no.
I muted and yelled, "You're being too loud," and he yelled back, "I can't help it." That's what things at my house are like. Still. Poor boy. Well, I actually have some things to show for myself. Creatively, I've been just a little bit, I've been sick and, stupid things. But I have and I had some stuff I've been amassing that I haven't shared yet. So I have some pictures to show. So one thing I wanted for Christmas was, I asked for a pretty good polymer clay setup because I keep seeing all of these reels and videos, TikToks and stuff of people doing the coolest stuff with polymer clay. And, well, I already do glass and I do some copper stuff. That just really appealed to me because there's all the mixing and all the different colors and the alchemy of it, I thought looked like fun. So anyway, I'm going to show you a few things that I made. None of this is on Etsy yet. It will be eventually. I haven't really put findings on much of it yet, but I will. So this little design, isn't that pretty? I'm calling this the strawberry limeade.
Oh, I like that.
And some of these will be earring sets. Some of them will be pendants. Look at these little mason jars. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen?
Yeah. Yes, that's darling. I love it.
And then these are agate slices. mock attic slices. I couldn't get a great picture of it with the light behind it, but that center part is actually quite opaque. You can see through it.
Translucent.
Translucent. There you go. Opaque means the opposite of that. Yeah.
It is, but that's all right.
Yeah. And this set is it's got mother of pearl inlaid in it. And then these little pendants. This is the first thing I made, and I really like these.
Oh, that's really pretty. That looks kind of like mahogany obsidian.
It does, yeah. And then a few more of the agate slice pieces. Isn't that
cool? Pretty. Wow.
I'm so happy with how these turned out. I made these today.
They're so cool.
And then I made some of those into smaller little pieces that go into these little charms.
Wow.
Well, we got that one twice for some reason. So there you go. Anyway, yeah. So that's what I've been working on and playing with.
Love it.
I also have a stained glass piece that's all cut out and just needs to be foiled and soldered. So I'm hoping to do that in the next day or two. But we actually have a fair coming up at the end of March. So
I'm excited.
Kind of thinking that direction and trying to get some new stuff together. So yeah, pretty fun stuff.
Yes.
So that's all.
Jamie says, any red pandas? They're my Cappy Bears. You know, I have a couple of different designs that I don't like all that much. And so I've been watching to get like a really good one because I also love red pandas. And there will be red pandas, Jamie, in Fidget Whimsy, I promise. Some of them are a little too cartoony. They're not enough look like the actual animal to make it worth it, you know, because like I had some elephants like that too, but I mean, look at this with the ears and the tusk and, you know, like I want that. So don't worry. That's on my list of animals I want to add.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Diane said we make a great duo. Thank you, Diane. Very kind.
We do our best.
Jonna wondered if we'd had drinks yet, considering we had not.
No, this is just who we are as people.
It's actually so true.
It is.
Lucy said she's glad we're covering Zack's Scrivner. She lives in Kern County, and he's such a scumbag. Oh, my Lord. Oh, yes, Lucy. We're really going to hash it out today.
A lot of scumbags on the show today. Like,
oh, my gosh. Don't we, though? Good Lordy. But welcome to everybody in the chat. I'm glad to have you guys here. And we probably should just get into it because there's all kinds of stuff to talk about. So I'm going to kick it over to you. We forgot to talk about it before the show, but I think you want to start with Creepy Crime.
No, I'm starting with Idaho.
Oh, you are? Okay. Idaho.
Mm-hmm. Idaho. Squad, y'all know that a lot of bullshit goes down in this state. We talk about it all the time. But something happened at a town hall over the weekend that just cannot be ignored. This was a town hall. It was a Kootenai County Republican Central Committee legislative town hall, which, of course, you know, the vast majority of our legislators are Republican because we live in Idaho, but this was a town hall for them. Now, here's the deal.
Which, let's say first, I'm amazed they had a town hall because
I am too. They usually don't have them at all because they don't want anyone to speak against them. And they were very clear about that in this town hall. Yeah. So a woman named Teresa Borrenpohl had been yelling out some stuff at the legislators, which is her right, free speech. Literally, the First Amendment protects us from retaliation by the government for criticizing the government. Okay, keep that in mind. That's what
the First Amendment is. People get very confused on that law. This is
very
on the Constitution. This is the First Amendment in action.
Yes, it is. And everyone has the right to go to town halls of their representatives, and they have the right to speak out. That is literally the way that our government works.
Indeed.
And so Teresa and others had been doing that, had been yelling things during the talking, you know, because they don't want to take their questions. They don't want to talk to them, actually, anybody that's a dissenter of any kind. That's how these town halls have become. It used to be that if you asked a question at a town hall, the person would answer you. They would have a civil discourse with you, whether you were in agreement with each other or not. No, they weren't doing that here. So she had yelled things out several times. And so the sheriff of Kootenai County came over and spoke to her. Now, let's just be real clear. He was not in uniform. Also, this was in the city of Coeur d'Alene, which means that he doesn't have jurisdiction. The city police have jurisdiction.
Right.
But he took it upon himself to try to remove her from this town hall. His name is Robert Norris. And she, made it very clear. He grabbed her by the arm, tried to drag her out of her seat and make her leave. And she said, please don't touch me. What are you doing? And when I've got the video, don't worry. I've got, one of the videos. There are a lot of videos.
Yeah. Well, people were pretty horrified across the board.
Yeah, because this was not okay. They assaulted her.
Yeah.
And this was completely not okay. So he calls in these two guys, just dressed in black. No security, nothing identifying themselves as security, which, by the way, by law in Idaho, they have to. You have to be identified with. You have to have security on the front of your shirt that's at least the letters have to be at least 1 inch high, and on the back of your shirt, at least 4 inches high. You have to be identified.
And don't you also have to be registered with the state as a security firm?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
These men, called over by the sheriff, remember, started grabbing hold of her and trying to jerk her out of her chair. And she keeps asking them, who are you? Who are you? Are you police? What's your badge number? Who are you? They would not answer her. They did not tell her who they were or who they represented. They finally drug her out of her chair.
By what authority? They were putting hands on her? Yeah.
They had zip tie handcuffs, you guys.
Yeah.
Which, what?
Yeah.
They're private. So you can't do that, especially not at a town hall. She wasn't threatening anyone or trying to harm anyone. She was just yelling things out at these legislators.
Well, and this event was at a high school. It was at a public school.
Yeah, it was. It was a public forum. They can't trespass anybody. They can't keep people out. This is not how this is supposed to go for anyone. So they drug her out of her chair and got her into the hall, sort of into the aisleway. She got away from them and got back to her chair. The one guy put his arms around her and said, if you'll just stop struggling, this will be easier. And she yelled, that's what rapists say. And she kept yelling, I'm being assaulted. Who are these men? I don't know what's happening. I don't know why this is happening. And people all around her are filming this because what the hell?
Yeah.
They ultimately got her out into the aisleway and pinned her down on her stomach, sat down on her. She had made a statement at one point that she was just trying to keep breathing. She was terrified. They've got her pinned down. They finally flipped her over and drug her out into the hall. And when they drug her out into the hall, apparently she bit one of these men. And, well, here's the deal. The city police were out front because there'd been a threat made on one of these legislators. And so they were out there making sure that the person that made the threat didn't come in. No one went and got the police, the actual police, because I'm sure they knew that those police would not have taken her out of there because she was not doing anything wrong. They charged her with a misdemeanor for biting this guy. But then later, the chief of police then learns the rest of the story and sees the videos, and apparently that's a real tentative charge. She may have had every right to be defending herself at that point. But they did get her out of there, but she was harmed. She went to the ER to make sure that she was okay.
Yeah.
And this was hideous and scary.
Terrifying.
And the chief of police is like, whoa, hold the phone. You can't drag somebody out of a town hall. That is free speech. She has that right. Also, who are these security people? If there's security, why are they not wearing the stuff that they're supposed to be wearing and identify themselves as security? There were a lot of things here.
It looks like private citizens physically assaulted another private citizen. I mean, that's
exactly
how else can it look like anything else?
The sheriff tried to tell the chief of police that he had no jurisdiction in this case. And the chief of police is like, we're in the center of Coeur d'Alene. That is, in fact, my jurisdiction. So there's quite a beef going on between the chief of police and the sheriff over this because the chief of police is like,
jurisdiction
what
would it
hell?
be?
Right. Because you know who it wasn't? That sheriff.
It wasn't
he didn't have any right to be
correct.
acting. He should have gone and gotten the police out front. And they would have come in and said, she's not doing anything.
Yeah.
But these men had a plan. This was planned ahead of time. You could very much tell that if there were any dissenters, this is what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you the video. Trigger warning, because they manhandled the hell out of her. And it's pretty unreal. But let's watch it, because I think that this is something that we need to be aware of, because this is not allowed. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you agreed with or don't agree with or whatever, but you cannot be removed from a town hall for speaking out. That is the literal definition of First Amendment rights. Yeah. So let's watch it.
Get up or be arrested.
So you know, folks, when our nation began, there was some really
get this all on film.
No, I'm not recognizing you.
What would you like to do?
So yes, we're going to get to.
Is this your jurisdiction?
Yes, it is.
Plenty of chances.
This is not a negotiation.
But, you know, the problem
You've been asked to leave.
is the folks.
I haven't been asked to leave.
I'm telling you to leave.
Look at that.
This is the town hall.
He's showing how intelligent he is.
You too.
With all
Leaving
the
also. Let's go. Come on.
This mission, they came here to disrupt so that the citizens can't hear. The reality is there's a whole bunch of great things that are happening. The problem is we got a bunch of rabble-rousers who just won't allow it to be spoken. So, you know, the thing is...
My name is Robert Norris. I'm the sheriff of this county. We're asking you to leave on video. Please get up or be escorted out.
And we're just taking care of the rabble-rousers.
Let's go.
And eventually what's going to happen is everything's going to...
Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me.
Let's go. You're going to be escorted out.
I just happen to have a nice loud voice.
Please don't touch me.
You're going to be removed also.
All of you. And I can really,
Please don't touch me.
talk for all.
Okay, I'm asking you to go.
Bob, you know this
You want
is a
pepper
very,
spray?
you know this is a very
Let's
bad
go.
idea.
She's
You
spoke
know
up.
this is
I'm
a
being asked to
very
leave.
bad
Doesn't want to
idea.
suffer the
Come on,
consequences.
let's go.
You know this is a very bad idea.
That we're struggling with so many of the teens today is they want to behave poorly and then not struggle with the consequences. That is shameful. I think what we've got right now is a situation where
Who are you? Who the fuck are you? Who are you? Let me see your badge. Where's your badge?
So all of you
Who the
came
fuck
here
are you?
To hear the legislators, I applaud you for sitting there.
Who is this? Who is this?
I
No,
promise.
don't you fucking touch me. Don't touch her. You're on film and you're not a sheriff. You're not a sheriff. You're not a sheriff. If you touch me again, I will call the police who are actually in charge here.
You should be allowed to cry. You should be able to
Who
allow
is this
you
guy?
to
Come on, let's go.
Stop it.
Let's
Get
go.
the fuck away from me.
Don't touch her.
This isn't a sheriff. Excuse me, Sheriff Norris. This gentleman is assaulting me. This man is assaulting me.
Now, let's go.
This man is assaulting me. Is this your deputy? Is this your deputy? No, don't fucking touch us. Is he a deputy? These are deputies. Who the fuck are these men? Who the fuck are you?
Hey,
Hey,
that's
hey.
over the kill. Let's go.
If you hurt me, who are these
Behind
guys?
your back.
It's bad. You have some
Who the fuck are these guys?
Social Security
Who the fuck are these guys? You are hurting her. You're hurting her.
We know that government has been mismanaging.
You are not deputy. Who are these guys? Who are you? Who are these guys? Who are you? Who the fuck are these guys? Show your badge.
Ma'am,
Who the fuck
just
are you?
cooperate. It'll be 100 times better.
Yeah, that's what they say to rape victims, you fucking
Cooperate.
piece
Just
of shit.
cooperate.
You refuse to identify yourselves. Who are you? Who are you?
To come here today. I applaud them for doing so. Thank you for coming. But the problem is this. They didn't come here to listen. They came here to interrupt. Isn't that what Elon is exposing in Washington, D.C.? Don't we have that same type of disruption everywhere in our government?
Let me
Who are you and where are your badges?
What's your badge number?
I've been told too many times to close your mouth and you don't close your mouth. You'll have an opportunity to speak. No,
Where are your badges? Who are these people?
I thought Republicans believed in free speech.
not when you're interrupting when somebody's speaking. That's what your problem is. You said you'll get an opportunity to go to a mic and speak, but you gotta keep your mouth moving.
There's no public comment.
There will be public comment.
Get your hands off. Where are your badges? Who are you?
Would you please follow me out here, please?
Get off of her. Get off of her.
Hey, get out of the way.
Who are these people? They don't even have badges.
Doesn't matter.
I'm allowed to film in public.
I'm asking you to please leave.
No.
No, I'm going to make sure my friend is safe. You're assaulting her. You're letting people assault her. You're letting people assault her. You're letting people assault her. You are letting people assault her. She is being assaulted.
Both of you, come on.
She's being
Sit
assaulted.
down.
Wow.
Holy shit.
How terrifying is that?
My God.
Can you believe how much they manhandled her and pinned her down and they put zip tie handcuffs on her?
First of all, that sheriff should be recalled ASAP.
Immediately.
He does
immediately.
not deserve to be in service.
He
of the
threatened to
people.
pepper spray her.
Yeah. Outside of his own jurisdiction with her doing nothing wrong.
Yeah. She had every right to speak up, as did anyone else in that crowd.
Absolutely.
Or
And a
any
lot
other
of
crowd
people
in a town
were.
hall.
She wasn't the
Yeah.
only person speaking out. A lot of people were.
Yeah, she wasn't the only one. But he didn't like her. And he went over and just tried to make her leave and tell her what to do. And she was like, fuck you. I don't have to do what you say.
Yeah.
Who was the politician? It was a group of politicians. Yeah, I want to see lawsuits against
Absolutely. Every
whoever
single
those
one of
men
them.
were. They say that they're from a security company, but they wouldn't identify themselves. A private security firm called Lear Asset Management Incorporated. But if that's the case, why were they not in uniform?
Right.
And what gave them the right to physically remove her like that? They did not have that. And to
No, and their
handcuff
company
her?
is not registered with the state as a security company.
Yeah, so they cannot even be considered security. Also, she did nothing to threaten anyone.
No.
Somebody was talking about Chris Cluey, is it Chris? The NFL player that did something similar. The difference with Cluey is that Cluey came up to the podium, spoke to the city council, and then went around the front of the podium and started walking toward the city council. You will get arrested for that because that is a threat. He knew it. He was doing it on purpose. Yeah. She, however, was not a threat to anyone. They nearly pulled her shirt all the way off, dragging her out of there. And she lost a shoe dragging her out of there. I'm sure she's bruised up. They pinned her down on her stomach, and that guy sat on her butt. Like, they all need to be charged.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. They all need to be charged. The fact that she's the one that got charged in that incident is so shocking.
Yeah. Well, the chief of police has come out and said that was before we knew anything about what had happened inside. And I highly doubt that charge sticks.
Yeah.
But what in the hell made any of those men think they had the right to drag her out of that situation other than they didn't like what she was saying?
Yeah. Well, and they had a whole auditorium full of people that were unhappy and were speaking up. Yeah. They were trying to make an example out of somebody.
Right.
I kind of want to say shame on the crowd for allowing that to happen to her and not standing up and trying to prevent it.
Right. Why weren't, there were a lot of people yelling at these guys, but nobody jumped up and got in the middle of it and said, you let her go.
And again, it doesn't matter who you voted for or who you support. None of us should be supporting this.
No, no one is allowed to be treated like that.
Constitutional rights. Yeah.
Huge. Yeah. I don't care if you like the person or don't like the person. You don't have the right to do that in a public town hall.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm proud as hell of her for being brave.
Oh, I love her. Yep.
She was very brave, but I'll bet that was terrifying, and I bet she's injured. Oh yeah, mouthy, called her little girl.
Yeah.
Said there were a lot of rabble rousers in the room. What do you expect, politicians? Really?
Yeah.
This is why Idaho doesn't usually even do town halls.
Yeah.
Right. They don't do town halls because they don't want people showing up speaking against them.
Yeah.
You would think that everybody in Idaho thinks and votes the same way, and it's not true at all.
No.
But we rarely do we get to express that in this state because they just don't show up.
No. And the politicians in this country have completely forgotten who they work for.
Yeah, they have.
And they're getting away with it.
Those Congress people were representatives of her district. Like, they're her politicians too, you know? Isn't Coeur d'Alene near Hayden, Idaho, home of white nationalists? Yes, it is. Yeah. Coeur d'Alene is a powder keg all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the white nationalists and those who oppose them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she ran as a Democrat in 2020, 2022, and 2024. So she was a known political opponent. She was,
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of those in Idaho. There are several here in Idaho Falls, where I live, as well. People who run every time.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Joelle says, I've been a bit mouthy at local town halls. Guys, I was a planning and zoning commissioner. And people did way more than what she was doing in our meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody drug them out the door.
No.
Like, you don't get to physically assault people because they oppose you.
Yeah. Or maybe
so
you do.
Scary.
Terrifying.
Very scary. But I hope that she immediately sues all of them. And I would bet that the chief of police is going to help her. I doubt that, I doubt that he is going to further her charge. And looking at that, those men all need to be charged with assault, including the sheriff. The sheriff is the first one to assault her. She said, do not touch me. And he grabbed her arm and kept pulling on her anyway. And he had no right to do that. She asked him, is this your jurisdiction? This is not a debate.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
You didn't have any right. You were just a private citizen speaking to her. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Marta says, where I'm from in Boulder, Colorado, they have them televised on YouTube so that you can watch contemporaneously. Most of them are boring, but I think it's pretty cool. I bet this one was too, because pretty much they all are. But there were many people in the crowd who filmed this. And when the chief of police saw those videos after the fact, that's when he was like, hold the phone.
Wait a second.
What is going on? So yeah, it was nauseating, wasn't it? It's scary and sickening to think that those men thought that they could just manhandle her like that. For what? For her words? No, that's not how this country works.
Nope.
People can speak up and speak out at the government without being consequenced. That's the whole point of the First Amendment.
People always get the First Amendment confused. They get mad when they can't say whatever they want on Facebook or Twitter. That's not the First Amendment. Those are private companies. They can tell you what you're not allowed to say on their platform. This is the First Amendment. We have the right to criticize the government without reprisal. Yeah, this is the very thing. Yep. And I don't care if they liked what she said or not. That doesn't
mean that anyone had the right to do that. So scary, but we will follow up on this and see what happens. I'm hoping charges are filed against these men. Absolutely. They need to be. I mean, they are on camera assaulting this woman without following any of the protocols that they should have followed to be security. Yeah. You can't just show up in plain clothes and start dragging people out of public events.
Cuffing
That's not
people.
how it works.
Cuffing people.
Cuffing people, physically assaulting someone. She
Pinning them to the floor, sitting on top of
anyone.
Them.
Yeah. The only time they can take somebody like that out of a situation like that is if they are a threat. She wasn't a threat. She was sitting in her seat. Yeah. Using her voice. So scary as hell.
Yep. Oh, I'm
but
sure
good for her for resisting.
Lawyers lining up around the block to help her bring lawsuits.
Oh, I would imagine.
Multiple lawsuits. Yep.
There are so many films of this, and the shit that the sheriff said, threatened her with pepper spray. Are you serious? You're
Well,
gonna
like
pepper
someone
spray
else said,
her?
if he would have pepper sprayed her, he would have pepper sprayed half the crowd.
Right. Yeah. Well, and he
Yeah.
was trying to make her friend leave that was filming
Yes.
too. For what? For filming
Did
in a
she
public
ever
place?
leave? I was curious about
I'm
that.
not
Did she ever
totally
leave?
sure. Her film just kind of fades out, so I'm not exactly
Mhm.
sure what happened. But she definitely did not take any shit off that sheriff. This is a public
Mhm.
event. We all have the right to film.
Absolutely.
That's how it
Yep.
is. And everybody has that right, not just certain people. We all have.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
That helps protect
wow.
our rights.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. Well, with that, Katie, I'm going to kick the mic over to you for some our main case.
Yeah. Get your puncher pillows. This case started in Kern County, California, clear back in April of last year. And the person that is accused of the crimes in this case, his name is Zack Scrivner, Zack Scrivner, and he was one of the Kern County supervisors. So, if you would like to know what the Kern County supervisor does, I wanted to know because, wow, this case. So, the Kern County Board of Supervisors is responsible for governing the county and making policy. So he was a part of the local government. They enact legislation, manage county land use, and oversee environmental issues. They enact legislation, create ordinances, resolutions, and orders that govern the county. They set policies, manage land use, oversee the environment, making sure that the county's environmental issues are addressed, appoint and remove department heads. They have the authority to appoint or remove department heads from whatever departments they have in the county. They are elected officials, 4-year terms, and the supervisors are nonpartisan. So this is he was a part of District 2, I believe.
Okay.
So that's a basis of him. He had a wife and 4 children. Looking at their family photos, it looks to me like they have 2 sons that are, I would say, somewhere around 16, 17. The younger one maybe 14-ish. The little girls look to me like they were around 8 and 10, or 10 and 12, probably 10 and 12, somewhere right in there. So that's the foundation. So I'm going to show you a press conference, a portion of it that happened last year in April from the sheriff's office there.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. I'll read you a prepared news release and I'll give you an opportunity to ask questions that you might have. Some I may not be able to answer, some I may not want to answer because of various reasons, but I will be as open and as transparent with you as I can. On 4/23/24 at approximately 11 o'clock, give or take 15 minutes, I received a phone call at home from District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer. She was concerned about her nephew, Supervisor Zack Scrivner, and she told me that he was having some type of psychotic episode at his residence in Tehachapi. She told me he was armed with a gun. We hung up and I immediately called our comm center, and because I wanted a response of more than one person, I had our comm center dispatch deputies to the residence that's in the city of Tehachapi. A short time later, she called me back and told me that he had been disarmed. So I relayed that information to my comm center to let the deputies know that he was no longer armed, but still having an episode. Deputies responded to the residence in Tehachapi to report Supervisor Scrivner was armed and suicidal. Upon arrival, deputies secured the firearm and started their investigation. During the investigation, deputies learned that Zack Scrivner had a physical altercation with his children, and Zack was stabbed twice in the upper torso. The physical altercation occurred over allegations Zack had sexually assaulted one of his children. Deputies called detectives to further the investigation. Detectives obtained search warrants looking for evidence of the stabbing and the sexual assault. During the search, detectives seized approximately 30 firearms, and possible evidence of the assault and sexual assault. Forensic evidence was seized for examination. When deputies arrived, Zack's parents were also in the residence. Supervisor Scrivner was transported to Kern Medical Center, where he was treated for his wounds. Because the district attorney is Cynthia Zimmer is Mr. Scrivner's aunt, the Attorney General and another county have been contacted to review the evidence once we complete our investigation. It should be noted that this investigation is ongoing and not near completed. We still have interviews to conduct. We still have forensic evaluations to make. And this could be a lengthy process because it's not going to be submitted to our crime lab here or our district attorney here. It's going to go outside the county. So this may take us a little bit longer to come to a conclusion, and then when we get there, you'll be the first to know, and we'll do another press conference. With that, I'll answer your questions.
So the crux of it is, he was doing shrooms. And he was,
Okay.
They're calling it a mental health episode. He was actually using a substance. And from
So
that
he had a bad trip.
Yes. He climbed in bed with one of his little girls and was in the process of sexually assaulting her. When one of his boys tried to prevent that and get him off of her and stabbed him in the abdomen twice.
Wow.
911 was not called. His aunt, the prosecuting attorney, called the sheriff personally.
Great.
That's how this all started. He then took a leave from his job, a medical leave. The county wasn't notified. His attorney put out a statement to the press. That's how they learned that, I guess Zack's not coming to work right now because he's on a leave. He did eventually resign.
Wow.
His wife pretty much immediately started divorce proceedings and got a restraining order for herself and for the kids. There's a filing in September from him. She had asked for immediate child support while they were separated because she needed it. She was suddenly single, with 4 kids.
Right.
In September, he filed a brief with the court saying that he was no longer employed and had 0 income and needed to be released from child support immediately. Yeah, because why would he, be paying for his children to exist?
Yeah, his children who
sheriff-
he is irreparably traumatized.
Yes.
Like
The
lifetime
sheriff-
trauma.
Oh,
Jesus.
absolutely. Can you imagine the scene in that house as this is all going on? Horrifying. And this kid fighting his dad, physically stabbing him, trying to make him stop assaulting his little sister. Can you imagine?
No.
All right. September comes around and the sheriff is like, really? We're never charging him? Like, what's going on? So he goes on the news and does an interview with the local news and says, we're frustrated. We turned all of our stuff over to the state a long time ago. And we haven't heard a word. Our communication with them has been very poor. Like, what's going on? Because we don't know. Well, on Valentine's Day, this press conference came to light.
Bakersfield and Telemundo Bakersfield, KGET 17. Of course, last week you announced the charges against former Kern County Supervisor Zack Scrivner. Just trying to get something on the record here, both in English and Spanish if possible, about a message you want to say about this case. And 2 logistical questions from KGET I have. First is, given the allegations we're all aware of, why is this supervisor not facing a sex crime charge that would require him to register as a sex offender if convicted? Second is just about the timeline here. I know it took about 10 months or so between the allegation, between the alleged incident and the charges last week. Is that normal? Is that a long time? Why did it take 10 months?
Sure. We announced our charges last week. We spent time, of course, on the investigation, making sure it was accurate, comprehensive, that we were considering all of the material evidence. We spoke to witnesses and victims and examined all the evidence to come up with a fair, appropriate decision in the case. And our criminal complaint speaks for itself. Those are the charges that we believe the evidence supported. So those are the ones we brought. That's simple. That's how we do it. We do it straight up. And based on the conduct and the evidence that we were aware of, that's what we charged.
And you said nobody is above the law in your press release. Is there anything you want to say on camera here, both in English and Spanish?
We combat crime, and no matter who you are, what position you're in, if you violate the law, if you harm others, if you hurt victims, we're gonna come for you and make sure that you're held accountable. So no one's above the law. Everyone must be held accountable if they break it. And we brought charges here that are consistent with the conduct.
So that's right. They brought charges.
As should have happened months ago.
As should have happened. It's been 10 months. The charges do not include a sexual assault charge.
Are you kidding me?
This is why people are very upset about this.
Oh my God.
So let's run through the charges. So on count 1, on or about April 23rd, 2024, defendant Zachary Nelson Scrivner did commit a felony, namely a violation of Section 273 of the Penal Code, child abuse under circumstances or conditions likely to cause GBI or death. In that defendant did willfully and unlawfully, under circumstances and conditions likely to produce great bodily harm and or death, to wit, sexually penetrate, injure, cause, and permit a child to suffer and be inflicted with unjustifiable physical pain, mental suffering, and having the care and custody of said child, to injure, cause, and permit the person and health of said child.
That's not a sex charge?
No. Hold on, I'll get there.
Holy shit.
To be injured and did willfully cause and permit said child to be placed in such situation that his or her person and health were endangered, to wit, while responsible for the care of the defendant, the defendant consumed mind and or mood altering drugs and substances, got into bed with child, and subsequently touched them inappropriately.
My God.
Count 2. That on about April 23rd, 2024, the defendant did commit a felony, namely a violation of the same code, in that the defendant did willfully and unlawfully, under circumstances and conditions likely to produce great bodily harm and death, to wit, a firearm-related injury or great bodily injury sustained in the struggle, injure, and cause, to permit a child to suffer and be inflicted with unjustifiable pain and mental suffering, and having the care and custody of said child, injure, cause, and permit the person and health of said child to be injured, and did willfully cause and permit said child to be placed in such a situation that their health was endangered, to wit, while responsible for the care of this child, introduced firearms into a situation where the child would attempt to get control of the firearms or otherwise prevent the defendant from committing self-harm, and struggled with the child over the firearms, seriously aggravating an existing injury to the child. That's count 2. Count 3, I'm going to skip over a lot of the legalese. We've already heard that. It's another firearm injury, similar to the second one. And then count 4 is that he was in unlawful possession of an assault weapon. And count 5, also in possession of another, unlawful possession of another AR, another assault weapon.
Christ. But they're not going to make sure he has to
charges.
register as a sex offender? Really?
Nope. 3 charges of child abuse and 2 weapons charges without a sexual assault charge.
And are they felonies?
Yes, they're all felonies.
Okay. That's something, but what the hell? They're still soft selling this.
Oh, absolutely they are. Yeah.
I mean, the son who had to stab him certainly witnessed him sexually assaulting his little sister.
Right. To listen to the state saying, well, we investigated him with the evidence we have. This is what we've got. Really? Yeah.
Gross.
So obviously people in the state are absolutely furious, or people in the county are absolutely furious because what the fuck?
Right.
The sheriff is still absolutely disgusted. He did another interview. I wanted to bring up some of the points that he made. The sheriff himself is saying that he believes that Scrivner has received a lot of special treatment. Here's some of his points. He said Scrivner pleaded not guilty in court, but was not arrested. He was never arrested. He was never fingerprinted. He was never booked. He was also released by the judge on his own recognizance.
Who was protecting these children?
Good question.
My God.
The wife, I don't know if they're divorced yet, but the soon-to-be ex-wife, they were also back in court this week, however, on the restraining order, and she was given a 3-year restraining order from him.
Good, but why didn't that happen when this happened?
Right.
Like, holy shit.
They've had a restraining order. This was to lengthen that, to be sure that he doesn't get to have any access to the kids. The charges stem from an incident at his home last April. He revealed that at the time, Scrivner was stabbed in the upper torso by one of his 4 children in an attempt to protect another child from being sexually assaulted, as we know. He was not charged with any sex crimes, though the criminal complaint discusses him getting into bed and touching the child inappropriately. It also says penetrated in the
Yeah, it did say that.
warrant.
So how the hell is that not a sex charge?
Well, good question. So Sheriff Youngblood says he feels like the office was frequently ignored by the Attorney General's office throughout the investigation, adding that the 10 months that it took to charge Scrivner did not surprise him. He said, there's victims in this case, and that's all I care about. I don't care about Zack Scrivner. I don't care about his defense attorney. I care about the victims and how we treat them and what they are thinking about this case. That's what's important to me. Yeah, the sheriff is furious. And
good, yeah,
about
should
the
be.
whole thing, as he should be, absolutely. So, I mean, I'm glad charges were finally brought. I think it's astonishing that there's no sex crimes in this case. I was reading local news stories and just reading the comments. I do that a lot because you go straight to the source and you see what the local people have to say about a story. You learn a lot. And, whew, everybody hates Zack. I'll tell you that. Everybody hates Zack. Yep.
Well, why is it we have a real problem in this country that shouldn't people who are in positions of power in our government, whether it's local or wherever, shouldn't they be held to a higher standard, not a lower one?
Right.
But it seems like cases like this happen all the time where, there's obvious nepotism in the situation and like people get away with shit. The people who should be more accountable because of their position actually get away with more things. It's so gross.
Oh,
God.
Years ago when I still had a home
poor
daycare,
kids.
I had a sheriff's deputy. He was the dog catcher, but he was a deputy for the sheriff's office. And he, in 2 instances that I know of, assaulted his wife. The police were called, his buddies, who came out both times and made him leave the house for the night so everyone could cool down. There was never an arrest. She was unsuccessful getting a restraining order, basically packed up the kids and moved to a different town in with her mother to get away from him, and he was never held accountable. Ever.
That's
and unfortunately,
disgusting.
I'm afraid that things like that happen a lot.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
Absolutely. Yep. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I would like to see this one through. Wow. And more than anything, I hope his kids are okay. My God.
Oh my God. I cannot imagine.
They have been through it. And his wife, too, his ex-wife. They
Oh,
have all
yeah.
been through hell with him.
How terrifying and gut-wrenching for these children. God.
Yeah.
That's just hideous.
Also, though, I mean, the arrest brief, or arrest documents certainly indicate that there were kids that were injured as well.
Yeah.
So the way his attorney is painting it, it's that he was having a psychotic episode and he was trying to kill himself, and one of his kids fought him over trying to get a gun away from him. And that's what really happened.
Oh,
That's
that
what the defense is
conveniently
trying
leaves
to
out
blame.
the sexual assault
Uh-huh.
part. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Pardon me if I don't believe that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that kid would not be stabbing his dad for no reason.
Right. Exactly. Yep. So there you have it. So, Kristi, I'm going to kick it back over to you for some creepy crime.
Yeah. Now, we all know that this jackass right here, Sean Combs, is creepy as hell. He's being held in federal jail, awaiting trial on an absolute mountain of sex trafficking and RICO charges, right? Well, something has occurred that it got kind of mixed up. So one of his attorneys has quit.
Right.
So one of his attorneys, let me tell you his name, has quit his case. And this guy's name is Anthony Rico. And he filed what people are calling a surprise motion to withdraw, like the other attorneys didn't know this was happening. And in his request to withdraw was very short. And he said, under no circumstances can I continue. Kind of interesting because, well, this guy, Anthony Rico, has represented a lot of really bad guys, including Osama bin Laden.
What? Oh my God.
No shit. So Osama bin Laden was charged in the U.S.
Yeah.
And was assigned a defense attorney because he wasn't even in the U.S.
Right.
And it was Anthony Rico, and he defended Osama bin Laden's rights and said, you can't charge him with something, and he's not here to defend himself. He's not here to speak for himself. Anyway, you know shit is bad when the guy who defended Osama bin Laden is like, oh, I'm out. Okay?
Real bad.
So then, a TikTok influencer made a video. I'm not going to show it to you because it's massive misinformation, but it's hilarious. He made a video in which he said that Anthony Rico withdrew because he was being charged with necromancy, and there was no way he could defend him against that charge.
What the hell?
The video is hilarious. If you go look it up on social media, I'm sure you'll find some version of it. And he goes on and on about, I and many people in his comments thought, does he mean necrophilia? Now, let me be clear. Yeah, necromancy, sorcery, speaking to the dead, raising the dead, right? Sorcery, right? Which there are no laws against necromancy in the United States. None at all. Also, Combs has not been charged with necromancy either. Right. Is something relating to necrophilia coming down the pipe? We don't know.
Holy shit.
This is totally a rumor. Necrophilia, of course, is having sex with dead bodies, as we unfortunately know because we've covered so many funeral home cases.
Yeah.
But it's created a lot of misinformation and confusion that Combs is being charged with necromancy. Seriously, go watch the video. It's funny as hell. I can't decide if he's just straight up, this is just deadpan comedy and this just a total spoof.
Right.
Or if he really meant necromancy and he just got the words wrong.
Necrophilia.
or necrophilia. I mean, now Coombs has not been charged with necrophilia yet, but I mean, can we put anything past him at this point?
Oh, I don't think
for
so.
all of the hideous shit he's been charged with and being sued for. Like, would I be surprised if a charge for necrophilia came down? No, I would not.
I wouldn't be surprised to see bestiality charges. I wouldn't be surprised to see necrophilia charges. I wouldn't be surprised to see anything. There were no limits with this man. None.
There weren't. But to be clear, to our knowledge, he's not been charged with those things. But
nor
this
necromancy.
Video, nor necromancy. But it was so funny. The whole video about the necromancy is just damn funny. Let me see. There's one quote here from the TikToker. Because there's a lot of question over why did this guy, why did Anthony Rico quit the case? Because he's not said publicly at all. He's not said anything.
Right.
Yeah. The defense attorneys are just trying to say, oh, there's all this unsubstantiated stuff around celebrity legal cases, which it could be. It could be. Or it could be that something else is coming and this guy got the word wrong. We don't really know.
And this attorney hit his limit on what he's willing to defend. Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point, the TikToker goes, well, he quit because he could not defend that sorcery.
What?
Go watch it. It's funny as hell. Just know it's not true. This is P. Diddy. This is Sean Combs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just call him by his real name.
But it's crazy that his attorney quit too. I mean, he's
right. This guy quits.
Yeah.
And says he cannot continue to defend him. Okay. Why? Like what? So I don't know, man. I don't know at all. All I know is that this is funny as hell. And he says necromancy like 27 times in that video. It is so funny.
If he actually gets charged with necrophilia now, which again wouldn't surprise me in any way, I will die.
I know. Like, maybe he knows something.
Because he refuses to sneak in Crest white strips.
Yes, it probably is. We know that.
Right.
That other attorneys have been in trouble for that. So yeah, we don't know. Maybe something else is coming. Maybe this guy was just totally spoofing the whole thing. Nobody really knows. But I think everybody for a moment just went, yeah, that tracks. You can't put anything past Sean Combs at this point. So anyway, that's what's going on in his case. He's down an attorney, so he's down to 5. The judge has said the judge has not actually granted this guy's removal, but he probably will. And has said that, this is not going to slow down the trial date at all.
Sure.
This is kind of a not my problem situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. He still has 5 attorneys.
Yeah.
But I don't know, guys. Necromancy? I don't know.
I guess we'll keep an eye. Well, that's what we've got. So we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Mountain for another episode. Please like, share, follow. We appreciate that a lot. You can check out both Kristi's Fidget Whimsy store and my Etsy store over at truecrimesquad.com. You can tip us if you want to go over to buy me a coffee. Always appreciated. Certainly not required in any way, but we always appreciate that. You can also tip us via Super Chat here on YouTube if you'd rather tip us that way. Or just leave a sweet comment. We love that too.
We definitely do. And if you're struggling and you feel like you need some help, I can help you. There's a link on our website, truecrimesquad.com, for that as well.
Don't suffer in silence, guys. Just don't. Yeah. Alrighties. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. This has been yet another production of the True Crime Squad.
Bye, everybody.
Season 6, we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.